Live from WTOC, the Southeast News leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
Welcome to The News on WTOC Plus. I'm digital anchor Jude Bankley. A vigil will take place tonight for Dr. Linda Davis, the teacher tragically killed after a DHS crash ended in Savannah on Monday. It's at 5 p.m. today at Hess K-8, where she taught on Whitfield Avenue, a mile from where Dr. Davis was hit and killed. The Savannah-Chatham County School Board met last night, opening with emotional tributes to her, as you can see on your screen. Everyone also stood for a moment of silence. The Department of Homeland Security says she was hit by a man trying to drive away from ICE agents. Well, Memorial Health in Savannah issued a safety alert to staff about a woman posing as a nurse, attempting to get access to clinical areas at least twice. We have confirmed the hospital sent out a be on the lookout alert to its team members. It's part of the hospital's security protocol. The woman tried to access the maternity unit by telling staff it was her first day. She got into their emergency department last Friday by closely following another staff member through the door. The alert informs staff to call security if they see her again. Memorial representatives tell us they're thankful for their vigilant team members as their security continues to work on this, saying, quote, "We remain committed to maintaining a safe environment across our campus." And it's not an isolated incident either. It's affected us here at WTOC. The same woman tried to get into our studio last Thursday. We're now showing you the security footage. You can see her in our front lobby calling our newsroom multiple times. She told our coworker she was here for an interview. She gave conflicting information after someone answered our phones who she was here to meet. She was then walked out by WTOC staff. Turning now to international news. British police have arrested the brother of King Charles in their investigation into the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Former Prince Andrew was taken into custody this morning, and CBS's Tina Krause is tracking the developments from London.
The arrest of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the younger brother of King Charles III, comes on Andrew's 66th birthday. The former prince, who was stripped of his royal titles late last year over his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, is now in custody on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Police arrested him at his home on one of the king's royal estates this morning, a few hours outside of London. They're now carrying out searches at 2 addresses in the area. They're also assessing reports the former royal sent sensitive trade reports to the billionaire pedophile back in 2010. Multiple police departments across the UK previously said they were reviewing ties between Andrew and Epstein, including allegations a woman was trafficked here to Britain by Epstein to have a sexual encounter with the king's brother. Andrew has always denied any wrongdoing in relation to Epstein, saying he regrets their friendship. The arrest of a member of the royal family is an extraordinary development, considered unprecedented in the modern history of the British monarchy. Tina Krause, CBS News, London.
Back here in the Peach State, President Donald Trump is making his way to Georgia this morning. He's going to talk about his economic agenda and weigh in on a key political race in the state. He's expected to be in Rome, Georgia today to go over affordability and the economy. And he has endorsed Clay Fuller, the district attorney in the area, to fill Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat in Congress in District 14. That's a race we've been tracking currently at 18 candidates. And in the Palmetto State, former President Joe Biden is set to visit the state this month as state Democrats commemorate his 2020 primary win in the state. It's set for February 27th in Columbia. Now, Biden won nearly 49% of that primary vote and then carried every county in the Democratic race. The state was widely viewed as a turning point in the Democratic primaries, helping push him into Super Tuesday contest just days later. Staying in South Carolina, a new form of betting is taking South Carolina and the nation by storm. It's called prediction markets, and it's forcing lawmakers to reconsider sports betting regulation. South Carolina State House reporter Stephen Biddix has the details.
Senators I spoke with say to taper your expectations. It's unlikely a sports betting bill gets passed this year, but next year could be a different story. That's because of prediction markets. They're federally legal, so South Carolinians can use them now. Here's the difference. A sportsbook sets fixed odds and takes a cut. Prediction markets let users trade directly with each other, and prices are dynamic. The bill receiving a hearing would allow up to 8 operators, and anyone over 18 years old could place bets. Steve Pettit with the Palmetto Family Alliance opposes it. He says gambling leads to addiction and is unnecessary. But bill sponsor Senator Tom Davis says people already bet illegally or leave the state to gamble, and regulations could be beneficial.
Betting and gambling is going to become ubiquitous. It's going to be everywhere, and it's going to be on everybody's phone. And suddenly, we have no idea the tidal wave of what that could do.
The worst thing you can do in politics, though, is put your head in the sand and pretend something doesn't exist. The best thing you can do as a public official is to bring an issue out there, hear the pros and cons, debate the matter in public.
Caesar Sportsbook estimates South Carolina could make roughly $50 million in revenue annually from legalizing it. The subcommittee did not vote on the bill and say they will get back to it in the next few weeks, adding what they learned this year will help shape next year's policy. Reporting at the State House, I'm Stephen Biddix.
Back in Georgia, lawmakers are trying to take action after a crash that sparked controversial conversations. A bill would make it necessary that innocent drivers are being, a bill is being considered that states' drivers will be charged a mandatory 30-day sentence for each mile they drive away from State Patrol or the Department of Public Safety. It does not apply to federal law enforcement. Republican Representative Lauren McDonald is sponsoring the bill because she says this is becoming more common. Well, here on the coast, Live Oak Public Libraries will officially reopen the Carnegie Library as the Carnegie Library Heritage Center with a ribbon-cutting ceremony happening tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Originally opened in 1914 during segregation, the library was built with support from local African American leaders and the Carnegie Corporation. It served as a vital resource and beacon of knowledge for Black Savannahans. After extensive restoration, the space now becomes a special collections library dedicated to preserving that powerful legacy. You should expect a ceremony, a convocation, and a special performance by the Savannah State University Concert Choir during that ribbon cutting, again happening tomorrow at 10:30. Well, we're just a few days out from the start of baseball season. The first spring training games for the Atlanta Braves is on Saturday against the Rays, but there's still a few more questions than answers when it comes to the team's pitching staff. Just 2 weeks into spring training, the Braves are learning that 2 of their starting pitchers are heading to the injured list. Spencer Schwallenbach and Hurston Waldrop are now set to have similar elbow surgeries that will keep them out for an extended amount of time. Now the question everyone wants answered, is there a chance we see either of them pitch at all this season?
Yeah, I'm not sure. We all hope for that, but just you never know how these things go. You don't have a timeline, it's too far out. So, with them both being on the 60-day, there's not a whole lot to talk about, yeah.
While many fans are pushing for the Braves to make a free agent signing, manager Walt Weiss says a former All-Star pitcher, Bryce Elder, has looked confident in camp and is certainly an option to boost the rotation. Just a reminder, too, WTOC will be broadcasting 15 spring training games this year as part of Braves on Gray. The first one is on Sunday. Well, heading from the diamond to under the sea, the Georgia Aquarium has said goodbye to one of its most inspiring residents. Lorenzo the manatee has been released back into Florida's waters. Last June, Lorenzo was found stranded and extremely weak. He spent 8 months in Atlanta receiving care and rehab. Before his release, Lorenzo was fitted with a satellite tag to track his movements. All right. Here's a fun one. Georgia's state bird is the brown thrasher, its onion, the Vidalia, and its state flower is the Cherokee rose. But now lawmakers are discussing a new state symbol. Joshua Skinner with our sister station had the difficult task of going to a wing cafe to talk and test lemon pepper wings.
There's a state theme for everything. Georgia state amphibian, the green tree frog. State reptile, the gopher tortoise. So it should come as no surprise that lawmakers in Atlanta discussed naming lemon pepper Georgia State chicken wing flavor.
Georgians like lemon pepper wings.
State Representative Eric Bell authored HB 1013, and a 6-person committee met at the Capitol to see if it tastes as good as it sounds.
It's one way to highlight Georgia's culinary culture and cuisine.
So I stopped by the Wing Cafe and Tap House in Marietta to speak with Assistant Manager Sarah Baker and try 4 versions of lemon pepper wings.
This is our dry lemon pepper. This is our regular wet lemon pepper right here. This would be our Liger, which is our hot lemon pepper. And this right over here is our lemon gnocchi.
It did not disappoint.
Is it everything you thought it would be?
It's more than I thought it would
Okay, good.
Wings and lemon pepper flavoring have ingrained themselves in Atlanta culture, but how that got drummed up is a matter of who's talking.
People from Buffalo, because that's where the Buffalo wing started, moved down to Atlanta, and they started opening Taco Max in like the 70s.
By the 80s, J.R. Crickets had become an Atlanta anchor, popularizing lemon pepper in the South. The flavor is now a national mainstay, and one which Baker feels Georgia should lay claim to.
I absolutely agree. I think everybody should agree.
But leave it to humans to argue about anything. A federal judge in Illinois ruled against a fraud lawsuit, get this, in which a man claimed Buffalo Wild Wings as boneless wings are just chicken nuggets. That's fine. Lemon pepper? Well, there's more meat on that bone, because taste buds shouldn't be divisive.
Lemon pepper is something that we all can get along with.
In Marietta, Joshua Skinner, Atlanta News First.
All right, of course, one of the many proposals we are tracking under the Gold Dome, as well as plenty others too this legislative session. Oh man, Joshua Skinner always has a good time with those stories. All right, with that, we're going to wrap things up here for the news on WTOC Plus. We'd like to thank you all for joining us on your Thursday morning. We'll be back in just about 45 minutes for another round of stories during our news at 11 at the top of the hour. In the meantime, you can always check our website for the latest updates at WTOC.com. Thanks for watching, and here's Local News Live.